Oh, hey guys, you totally caught me. Oopsie. What I was just playing my copy of Pokemon Red TM, and I was playing it in my green or kiwi Game Boy Color. Now, this is a new game created by the Pokemon Company, created by Nintendo, that basically allows you to catch monsters, train them, put them into slavery, and kill them and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really fun. You should totally pick it up. It's coming out in this date. And what's more, it's super affordable. For only $1 million, you can get yourself one of these guys. It's so much fun. Yeah. What is up, you guys? Welcome to the collective. My name is Furman, and in this video, I'm gonna take y'all down a little road I like to call controversy. Now, I feel like I might be the only one that has this opinion on YouTube, but hey, if I need to die on this hill, I'm basically gonna do that, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, the opinion I have is basically Pokemon was not ready. Pokemon was not ready to go 3D. Now, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but hear me out. But before I tell you guys my opinions on that, don't forget to like this video, share this video. I know what I was doing with my middle finger. Share this video and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content. Alright guys, let's get into it. So here is my opinion on why I think Pokemon was not ready to go 3D. Let me take you back to the year, what was it, 2012 or 2011? I don't know, I'll put the date on the screen. Basically, every Pokemon game before X and Y was literally a visual masterpiece, not including Red and Blue and Yellow, because you know the hardware was very limited back then. But you know, every time it progressed and it got better, the games always looked better. Pokemon Gold and Silver looked really good, even though it was this like, you know, retro pixelated piece of garbage looking thing. It still looked really good. Like, it still had a certain charm, and it looked, you know, had colors in it, not just basically a filter of color, like one screen would be red and the other screen would be blue, like how it was in Red and Blue and Yellow. But it basically, things had colors in it, which is a huge difference compared to Red and Blue. And you go to Ruby and Sapphire, which, you know, obviously that basically upgraded to SNES level color bit because it was 16-bit. And the game started to look really good. They were starting to get really polished and look really amazing. And then we hit the DS era, which, as you guys already know, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which is the whole reason that sparked this this conversation. Basically, these games look so good. Like, I still remember to this day playing that with one of my best friends. Like, it was just a blast all the way through. Yes, it had its flaws for sure. I'm gonna give you guys that, but they looked amazing, and you can see that in, you know, in the later titles, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Black and White 2, which basically was the culmination of these games. Like, these games have never looked more gorgeous. And then it hit the 3D era, X and Y. Now, I don't want to sound like a big time hater, because X and Y was a huge reveal, and even I was really excited. But in retrospective, I'm looking back at these things and they look horrible. Like, they are like, it's basically like this weird 3D pixelated thing where it was like kind of an got something in my eye, sorry. It was basically this in between 3D, but not 3D, pixelated but not pixelated, kind of confused thing. And they basically carried that over to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And granted, those games looked a lot better than X and Y, but it was basically because it was running on the same engine. It was literally the same exact game, just Ruby and Sapphire packaged into it, pretty much. Now you hit Sun and Moon, which are, wow, arguably the ugliest Pokemon games ever made. Now in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they had these cutscenes that were basically, they made the character models look, you know, like what their height is actually supposed to be. They made Sun and Moon, the whole game is basically that cutscene, and it looks so bad. Like, oh my goodness. See, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, those games look really good, but the problem with that is that they're still using the engine that, the DS games were. So a lot of the movesets and a lot of the animations got carried over from a 3DS game to a Switch game. That's insane. Like, how is that even legal or even possible? And Sword and Shield, which was touted to be this huge graphical, it was basically the start of the Switch era with Pokemon games. That game, wow. Swing and a miss, Pokemon Company. Swing and a miss. I mean, we're talking textures. Like, the trees look like they literally copied them out of Ocarina of Time. And no, I'm not talking about the 3DS one. I am talking about the Nintendo 64 one. Bruh. How does that even happen? And you already know what the meme is right now. Apparently Pokemon Snap looks way better than their mainline game. And yes, I get it. Pokemon Snap is basically made to look really, really good. But do you really want your game to overshadow your mainline title? I wouldn't want that. Something that you can tell, like whenever you see, let's say Ryu, whenever they port him over to another game, he never looks quite as good as he does in a Street Fighter game. And that's facts. You can quote me on that. Go look up Street Fighter, any of the Street Fighter Ryus, and then look up what he looks like in Marvel vs. Capcom or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. He never looks quite as good as he does in his own game. And that's basically what it should be. But I digress. Let's move on. So another thing that led to the demise or the downshift of these games is the fact that Pokemon decided they were going to start coming out with the games yearly, and that they were also going to be releasing them globally all together. Now, if you guys have been playing games as long as I have, you know that with certain Japanese games, like Pokemon games, they usually come out in Japan first, and then we get them like a year later or a year or two. Like, I definitely experienced the blunt of that with games like, obviously like Pokemon, like I just said, but also like Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Zero, all those games, like, and they were dropping videos on YouTube about the game, and you're sitting there like, oh my god, I got, like, these are all spoilers, even though I can't understand the language. It's mega spoilers. Can I avoid these? Like, but yeah, now they're doing global, so everybody's getting the game at the same time, which is a good thing. But going yearly was probably a mistake, especially with making games in 3D. Which brings me to my next point. Not only did they go yearly, but because of the fact that the games are 3D, they basically have to make this massive 3D world that is really, really complicated and not hard to do, while having a very limited time. And also at the same time, what is the roster doing? Growing every single time. Every single time. X and Y was the first time that the Pokemon roster only went up by like 20 Pokemon. Is that acceptable? No! That's insane! 20 Pokemon! But hey, they brought in Mega Evolution, so that's also cool. So now, where are we at right now? We have, over, I think, 800 Pokemon? And I know a lot of people like to complain about the fact that, the National Dex wasn't in Sword and Shield. But guess what? That's 800 Pokemon that they have to do animations for. And they already have a hard enough time with basically recycling moves and recycling little things and little animations here and there. So because of all these things, these games are basically not coming out as good or looking as good or having as good of a story as they could because of these things. You can't have it both ways. And honestly, I'd rather have a 2D game or a game that's more, visually like Octopath Traveler. Something that looks like that isn't so demanding, but you can really, really go in there and customize each and every Pokemon, because it's not that hard to make to make sprites and all that versus like full-on 3D character models. And also, I'm pretty sure you guys already know this, but here's another point. Gold and Silver were quite frankly, probably the best Pokemon games ever made. Now, I do prefer the Black and White series more than Gold and Silver. Gold and Silver will always be my favorite because I feel like, because of nostalgia, basically. And that's okay. But, you know, Black and White were basically the best ones, in my opinion. But Gold and Silver were so good because of the fact that Game Freak basically said, alright guys, I don't think anybody's going to be into Pokemon anymore. Had to fix my screen real quick. I don't think anybody's going to be into Pokemon anymore, so let's make the best possible Pokemon game ever. The best possible Pokemon game we could ever make. They were literally like, we're just going to go all out. We're going to bring as many features as we could possibly think of that's like viable. And we're just going to do it. And let's just put it out there, and that's it, and that's what's up. And because of that mentality, they were able to make one of the best games literally ever. They were able to fix so many problems with Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. I don't think that mentality is there anymore. I think that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company are kind of way in over their heads, and I think that they need to, you know, restructure a bit, maybe get some outside help, so that these games could possibly, you know, keep going in the future. Like, so I remember being so bored of Sword and Shield, even though it was a little bit fun, and it was really cool, the boss battles, and, you know, or the big gym leader battles, and, you know, Dynamaxing, Gigantamaxing, all that. That was a really cool feature, but it just felt so barren and so linear. Like, the game literally walked you through it. And I understand that these games are made more for kids, but you have to understand that there's a balance that you can strike. It doesn't have to be, oh, I just made these games so easy that a kid could beat it, while at the same time, let's forget about, like, you know, the older demographic, guys like me, basically. And that brings me to my final point, which is why I love the fact that the remakes are taking this art style. I love the fact that they're going back to that chibi aesthetic. And I'm not saying that the game doesn't look rough, because it definitely does. It definitely needs some polishing. It definitely needs to look better, but they're gonna have to work through that. And I honestly prefer them to do games like that, because it's a lot easier to do that. It makes more sense for you to do that, while at the same time, you know, basically spreading the love and making sure that all parts of that game gets a decent amount of funding and is a really quality game. You can't have it both ways. Like, you can't make the most awesome, graphically intensive, super 3D game, while at the same time basically making sure that everything runs smooth and is like super nicely animated. It just doesn't work like that. So yeah, guys, I think that these remakes are a step in the right direction, and honestly, I'd like to see more games that look like this. But I guess we'll just have to see. And as far as the Arceus game goes, yeah, I mean, the game in concept is a really cool idea, but this game is supposed to come out in January, and it looks like an alpha. Bruh. Like, what on earth is happening there? This game does not look done or even ready at all. How are they about to put that out? Makes no sense. I think they should push that game back, honestly. But hey, you know, they're gonna do what they want to do, and yeah, hopefully it'll at least be playable. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on that. And stay tuned. I'm gonna come out with another video. I'm gonna be putting up a lot of videos these next few weeks because of E3, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And I want to talk about all of it, but you know, I'm not necessarily excited for all of it. I do have a new video. Probably the next video I come out with is going to be like more of a wish list type of thing of what I want, like my E3 predictions and, you know, that type of stuff. So yeah, stay tuned, and we will see you then. And as always, guys, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content. We will see you guys on the next video. Peace.